Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Interstellar Gateway stream. It's a particularly windy day here out at the Cape, but I'm joined by three of my fellow co-hosts for what is hopefully a rather different mission. This is a United Launch Alliance rocket, which is hopefully going to be sending some of the first ever Kuiper satellites up to orbit. So these are part of a Amazon-made constellation, which is hoping to compete with Starlink, and I'll have some more information for you on it very, very shortly. Perigi, you want to tell us more?
Oh, hi. Hey, chat. Paraja here. Today we are watching the first launch of the actual Kuiper constellation. Before this, we had a launch of Kuiper called Kuiper Protoflight, which was originally scheduled to be on another rocket and then was moved to the ULA Atlas V, just because of scheduling reasons. Now we're actually on the pad. This will kick off the actual Kuiper constellation, and I'm very, very happy to be in a time where we might finally start seeing an active competitor to Starlink launched. Kay, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
What is up, everybody? Happy to be a part of your host team today for this launch. And yeah, as Perigi said, that is sure to be exciting to have some friendly competition between these two companies. Excited to see this launch go ahead. And the weather was pretty nasty out there earlier. We have Brandon on the scene right now, giving us live views, and it's sure to be quite an exciting launch. And so yeah, stoked to be here. Miranda, can you talk to us about some more of the technical aspects of this launch?
Hey chat, I'm Miranda, as you may or may not know, and yeah, we are here for Kuiper KA-01, which is the first operational launch of Kuiper satellites. This first launch is carrying the very first 27 production Kuiper satellites. As Perigi mentioned, there were two prototypes before this launch, but this is the full finished production version. Kind of similar to how SpaceX launched two prototypes before they started deploying Starlink. Those hopefully ironed out the kinks, and here we are in very cloudy, very windy, and earlier is a little wet Cape Canaveral. And yeah, assuming everything goes well, we should be lifting off in about 22 minutes. They do have another about 2 hours of window after their current T0, which is 7 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, we will sit here and yeah, see how that goes.
Yeah, the worst case scenario is we sit here for 2 hours waiting for something interesting to happen. But even if nothing does, we'll still have some interesting conversation. So do stick around. We're also joined by Joey, who hopefully has his microphone on. Mr. Leal.
Hi. Hi.
Hello.
My name's Joey. I'm here to watch a rocket launch today.
That's pretty succinct.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty
you might have
excited
noticed-
today. We haven't covered an Atlas V, so this is gonna be pretty cool.
I don't think I've watched an Atlas V in something like 2 years.
Actually, is this our first non-SpaceX rocket? Now that I think about it.
It might be.
Wait, didn't we do
that-
the Rocket Lab side by or back to back the other?
Yeah, we did do that.
I
That
suppose
is
by proxy. Yeah, by proxy.
by proxy.
yeah, we
This is the
did
first time we've
shoehorn
got
that one in.
cameras
We
at
didn't
this time.
intend to do an Electron launch, but we did, and the camera shot
Yeah.
was cool.
We have our own cameras here out at the pad. So
Yeah.
I guess technically that makes it our first actually coveraged launch.
Yeah.
And our
first,
dedicated, yeah, exactly.
First dedicated coverage for the first dedicated constellation launch for Kuiper.
Seems fair.
You may see our footage is a bit choppy out there. Brandon is doing the best he can. Right now we're having some connectivity problems, but it's how it goes out of the Cape.
Isn't
Yep.
that beautifully ironic?
Yep.
We got
Perhaps
connectivity
one day
problems on
Starlink
the
will fix
connectivity
it.
launch. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. So an interesting point actually about Starlink, because I mean I may as well bring up the debate right away. Why on earth is Kuiper a thing, or Kuiper even? Why is Kuiper a thing if Starlink already exists? I presume Miranda will want to bobble on about this for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, competition is always a good thing. The technology here is not quite as advanced as what SpaceX has flying currently, but that's to be expected. This is their very first launch. So they will be improving the satellites as time goes on. But this is a very good first step. It is very to get to the point where they are, where they have a mass production line and have satellites. They're starting to begin that regular train of satellites into orbit. I got to give credit where credit is due. Amazon is taking a really nice first step here. So this is the first 27, like I said, but this is the first launch towards their eventual goal, which is 3,236 satellites. And yeah, that is a pretty lofty goal. And to get there, they're going to need a lot of launches. So, Mr. Perigi, would you like to speak a little bit about how they've kind of booked out the kitchen sink of launch capacity?
Sure. Yeah. I think Kuiper's booking can be accurately summarized as yes. They took slots on every single available launch vehicle that notably was not really SpaceX. Uh, so they booked quite a few Atlas V launches. I believe this is the first of 8, and I believe that is the remaining Atlas V's, except of course the few Atlas V's that are reserved to fly Starliner. Then after this, there are quite a few Vulcan missions, which is going to be very, very interesting to see how the scheduling plays out with the Department of Defense and their existing commitments to national reconnaissance missions. And of course, then we have the very illustrious New Glenn, designed by Blue Origin, who, as you know, is also the owner of Amazon. So there's a little bit of interdepartmental play there. But who knows? Who knows? Why this project is not just an Amazon in-house project escapes me. And then finally, for our last launch vehicle that is confirmed, we know that Ariane 6, the European national launch vehicle, will be taking quite a few payloads of Kuiper's as well. I believe that is on the 64 instead of the 62 variant because of its higher lift capacity for similar price. Miranda, is that accurate or no?
That is, except you're leaving out the 3 Falcons they booked.
Yeah.
They did book 3 Falcon 9s. Now there are some accusations, which I won't confirm nor deny, that they only booked those 3 launches because of a lawsuit alleging that they intentionally disregarded launching on SpaceX because of Jeff Bezos' rivalry with SpaceX. But yeah, they do have 3 launches on Falcon 9 scheduled for later this year into next year.
I think it's an interesting point as well. Sorry, Protrude, to step over you, bringing up Atlas and how there's only a few remaining launches, because Atlas V production, for those of you who don't know, has actually ceased. That rocket is powered on Russian engines, which are no longer being imported due to national security concerns, and they've ceased production entirely for the actual fuselage and tanks. So, how many Atlases are there left, actually, exactly? Does anyone have that number?
I don't have the number offhand, but there are, I believe, 5 more Starliner launches. There is 1 Viasat launch, and there are no national security launches left, and including this launch, there are 8 Kuipers left. So we're looking at a maximum of about 12.5 launches left on this vehicle, which has been a workhorse for a very long time. So I personally was not too sad to see Delta IV Heavy go, Delta IV and Delta IV Heavy, but this vehicle has served the U.S. well.
Delta IV Heavy was probably the prettiest rocket that existed aside from the Starship or Falcon, even derivative rockets.
Yeah, we can agree to disagree on that one.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Atlas V better.
What's your view?
Atlas V better.
Atlas V? You take Atlas V over Delta IV Heavy?
Absolutely. Just look at the way. Look at the shape. Look at the shape of that vehicle. The
Did you see
way
the shape of Delta IV?
Like a giant brute banging through the sky. It looks phenomenal. I love that thing. I would take it any day over the orange tube. All right. You don't put oranges in space, okay? You put the cool copper looking rocket. All right. That's just why. It's just better. It's just better.
Worth noting, just like SLS, this vehicle actually grows better with time. The booster thermal protection material, if I'm not mistaken, that coppery color does get a bit more extreme as it ages.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's an anodized copper coat, I believe. And the thing is, as it ages, it originally starts off as this like kind of ugly, almost greenish looking light brown. But as it ages, it just becomes this beautiful copper color that you can see on the booster. It's just makes it one of my absolute favorite rockets of all time.
yeah,
Yeah, mind
you
you,
can see.
Delta 4 Heavy with that fireball on ignition and taking off with
Yeah.
that charred fuselage has to be the prettiest sight from any rocket launch. Especially with
Mm.
3 massive engines as opposed to, pretty sure the Atlas engines are 4 nozzles, aren't they?
Two nozzles on RD-180.
Ah, okay.
Uh,
Still too
yeah,
many.
it's yeah.
Too many
Well, that's what
boo.
happens when you
Give me my
buy
big
Russian
bell.
engines.
Yep, give me a big bell and a big fireball and I'll be happy.
There you go. While
Yeah.
we're waiting to get further into this countdown, I did want to kind of jump over and just talk about Jared Isaacman's confirmation hearing earlier today. I think that was quite a sight and quite an experience for not only us and our team, but for America as a whole. You guys want to share some thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, so far, I think he's doing his best to please the powers that be. But he's going to have a very hard time. He said a lot of very pretty things. One of chiefly being that NASA will be able to do both the moon and Mars on its current budget, which I just cannot see happening unless they heavily cut the science programs, which is
Right.
what has been theorized for a bit now, which is fairly worrying.
I agree with you there.
I personally have a strong preference for launch as opposed to science missions because I am a rocket nerd, not so much a telescope and science mission nerd. But it would be disastrous for the science community if those missions were cut.
There's also a lot of unexpected consequences that you see in sectors that aren't just in space. So, for instance, my father works on solar flare prediction. So, they use data from solar prediction satellites, solar observation satellites, such as Stereo, SDO, SOHO. A lot of those satellites are very, very old now, and there are very few proposals to actually replace them. So, they're having to deal with the aging technology. Some satellites are entirely defunct and just don't work anymore. And they're having to absolutely fight for budget to keep those satellites afloat. But those satellites are the only reason we have the ability to predict solar flares. And that's an incredibly important ability in terms of managing transformers. If a transformer gets knocked out by a solar flare, that's a whole country's power gone in an instant. That's important for risk assessment of the ISS, everything. So it is fairly important that these science programs get conserved. We aren't just talking about launch, of course.
Sure. And I just want to quickly, to get back to the purpose of this stream, ULA, as per their Twitter, says that they have entered a planned hold point at T-4 minutes. So we are back in the T-4 holding pattern.
Many such cases.
Yes,
Many
so,
such cases.
I guess the weather is deteriorating again. So we will see what happens there, but keeping an eye on that.
There is a planned hold at T-4,
Right.
and they can hold for, as far as I'm aware, they can hold at this point all the way to the end of the window, if they need to. So right now they're probably preparing for that go no go poll, getting some final weather checks in. Earlier, they did say that wind was gusting up to 20 to 28 knots. Which is just a hair over their launch commit criteria. So we're just hoping that has calmed down a bit since, and hopefully we can get an on-time liftoff. But we are still waiting to hear from ULA on that one.
We can actually see how the weather feels to Brandon. I'm not sure if he's on microphone right now. Earth to Brandon? Do we have a Brandon?
He's probably trying to figure out these connection
Ground
issues.
control to Major Brandon.
Brandon
Aha!
has a
There he is.
microphone.
Hello, Brandon. How are you doing?
Brandon had to sit in the car because it's a little windy outside.
Do you think it's so on a 1 to 10 scale where 1 is it's fine and 10 is rockets tipping over? What are we saying?
Well, the rocket hasn't tipped over yet.
Good
So
news. Good news.
if rocket tipping over is a 10, then I'd put it squarely at a 9.
Fairly at a
Oh.
9. Well, that's a bit worrying. Okay, with that very scientific observation, we'll keep an eye on the winds going forward.
There's been a couple of instances here since we've gotten the live stream started where I've gotten a little bit of lift. Feet have come off the ground. I've kind
Oh
of
my God.
hovered in the air like a kite. It's a little scary out here in Cape Canaveral.
Brandon,
And
Yeah.
about to also lift off.
Brandon, do we need to be tying concrete bags to your feet?
It's probably not a bad idea just for redundancy at this point.
You know, the old bootstrap bill method.
Just for context, for those who don't know who the hell Brandon is, he's not a stranger we've pulled in. He is our videographer who's currently out at the Cape, bringing you that footage from the right. Unfortunately, it is a little bit choppy. That is just how the connection is. We don't have Starlink with him right now, ironically. But we'll look into it, I suppose.
Starlink
Yeah, for
will
once,
fix
Starlink does fix this.
For once, Starlink fixes this.
Yeah, Interstellar Gateway does in fact have Starlink. However, it is not currently on hand. It is sitting in a storage unit squarely where it does not belong. So here we are dealing with the best that Verizon can possibly pull off
It's just
in the
not
middle
very
of the
much.
swamp in Florida. Yeah.
Perigi, I have to call you here. I see Werner von Kerman is in our chat, and he's asked for a combination IGW and lobotomy live stream. How do you feel about that?
It's like you don't drink on the job, okay? You'll get your content in your own time, all right? That's not becoming of a professional environment. You'll get your content soon enough. And by soon enough, I mean every time you ask for a lobotomy live, I extend the next one out by 2 months.
Yeah, what's the current T minus? What's the current NET?
Current T minus.
Secret.
You need to solve the Riemann's hypothesis, I think, to figure that one out. And
Okay, I'll lock in over the weekend. I can probably sort that.
thank you. Yeah, that'll be great.
Incredible.
So,
Just a quick hello to the chat. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you don't mind, share the stream. Share it on Twitter. Share it on Facebook. Share it wherever you like to share it.
share it to your parents,
with
share it
your
to your
mailman.
friends, neighbors, teachers,
Everybody.
children.
Just share it.
Dogs.
You know.
Yeah,
Dogs,
get your
cats.
dogs in, man. I love
Mhm.
dogs. More of a cat
Yeah.
guy, though.
Yeah,
And
throw
I
us
do
on,
notice as well.
Me.
Go
See
on.
if I can convince her to watch.
The dog?
No,
cat.
Okay, man. Oh, the cat.
Miranda's a
Okay.
very nice
Fair
cat.
play. Fair play. I see Zoisite? That says we have a new launch target of 7:40
yeah.
p.m.
ULA says we are awaiting a new T0 due to weather, actually. So I don't think that new time has been confirmed, but we are just simply
check that.
awaiting.
Let's check
It's
that.
for ULA.
Aha. ULA, on their website, launch director Eric Richards has instructed the team to coordinate a new target launch time of 7:40 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, so 23:40 UTC. That is that's in a little while now. So we've got another 45 minutes of bullshit.
Yeah. Quantify, can I talk about something I find slightly interesting, which
Is it vaguely rocket related?
yeah, no, it is rocket related.
Then you may.
So if you notice, this whole thing is taking a lot longer than it takes, like the average Falcon launch, for example. And you might be like, well, actually, that's just because ULA sucks, because I'm a SpaceX fan for all eternity. But
Real.
no, the actual thing is that Falcon 9, it's not just the difference between liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. Falcon 9 uses a very densified form of kerosene and liquid oxygen on its first stage, while ULA does not use that at all. And what that reduces on Falcon 9 is load times. So you'll see propellant load take like I don't even know how quick they do it to the beginning of the launch. I think it doesn't even start like an hour beforehand.
Yeah, Falcon 9 prop load starts at T minus 35 minutes.
Yeah, it's much quicker, and I do believe that the Falcon 9 booster contains more propellant than the Atlas V core as a result of the densification, and it's just much faster as a whole. and because it's much faster as a whole, this also ends up with the properties of the propellant, meaning that they can't hold nearly as much. But with ULA, you can just get these like 2 hour long holds. But Falcon, if it has to hold once, once it's inside, I believe it's the T-10 minute window, the mission must immediately be scrubbed and called off because the propellant just will not sit around like that in a stable condition long enough for
It's just a
them.
difference of supercooling, isn't it? I mean, once you start dipping into the kind of the cryogenic range of temperatures, propellants start behaving weirdly and becoming very, very. They like to take in an awful lot of heat, much more than they would otherwise. So it's pretty much impossible to hold them there.
Yeah, favorite bit of trivia from me is on Atlas, the RP1 is actually room temperature. They don't chill it at all. They actually, if they have time, they do load propellant the day before, or at least the fuel rather, which is just wild to me that they just leave a fully fueled rocket on the pad for almost an entire day. Yeah.
Is the reason they don't cool further because of an engine limitation, or do they just not bother?
They just don't need the extra performance. RD-180 is not designed for that. The only reason Falcon 9 subcools is because they were able to get such a performance boost out of it. But it has always been considered like a less risky approach. And ULA is all about, specifically Lockheed Martin at the time, all about simple, reliable. SpaceX,
and
of course, being SpaceX.
Well.
Yeah, SpaceX being SpaceX is, hey, we can get about, I believe the number is about 20% more propellant crammed in here if we subcool. So that's how we got Falcon 9 full thrust.
I feel like the ULA philosophy has always been, if a contractor needs a launch, they will get it done within a window, or they will do their absolute best to. SpaceX is generally much more happy to scrub because they've gotten awfully good at that now.
Enroll 44?
Go ahead.
Oh.
If I can direct everyone to the chat, we got a comment from Space Vulture saying, damn, didn't know Interstellar Peakway was live. Listen, we appreciate that. We were not late way today, okay? And also, thank you guys for sharing. We have now gotten several more viewers in the live stream. Thank you guys so much.
I've just noticed that skyrocketing. If those aren't all bots who have come to tell me that my voice sucks, welcome. Very good to have you. On the left, you'll see Miranda's cat. Miranda, what's that cat named? Can you confirm?
That cat's name is Misty. She is actually my roommate's cat, but she is not home at the moment. So
you've stolen her.
So you
Interesting.
Catnap the cat. Love it.
Interesting. Can you confirm that she's enjoying it?
She was not enjoying me picking her up, but she is now back on the couch.
Solid copy. So she's. I'm trying to think of a rocket-related term here. Give me a minute. I'll think of a punchline.
Serially produced cats.
No, we need something like referring to a launch timeline.
Can you guys help with this?
She's past main meow cutoff. Now looking at
Kitty is go for propellant load, and by propellant I mean
propellant load. I mean food.
Exactly.
That reminds me, I should actually feed her.
I'm gonna start telling myself that I'm go for propellant load when I pour cereal into my bowl. E- from the microwave.
Catnap is imminent. Here we are. Oh wow, we just surpassed 100 watchers on the YouTube. Thank you, guys.
Where's coming from? Well, Clever Girl is praying to the launch gods.
Yes.
I think given how much I pray to the high altitude wind gods back in the early Falcon days, I'm not sure that's going to do anything.
Not sure they care about our feelings.
This wind limitation, is this just ground level wind or is it high altitude? I'm presuming ground.
Good question.
Let me see.
Let's check this out. For those of you who are just joining, welcome. Very good to have you. We are Interstellar Gateway. We do a bunch of space-related media. We do live streams, production of videos, documentaries, which we're working on right now. Starship Episode 2 coming soon. And you're joining us right now for the first proper launch of the Kuiper constellation from Amazon, launched by ULA. It's currently delayed. We're looking at T-minus 39 minutes until launch, but we'll be here throughout it. I see Soy Size talking about cereal now. I could use some proper cereal, actually.
Chat, while we're waiting for, since we just got this new T0 update, I would love to know where everyone is watching from. Looks like our viewership has gone up significantly. Yeah, where's everybody watching from? Drop a comment in the chat. Let us know. Also, we do have a poll running right now, asking if are we back. And I think we are so back right now.
Very,
Yeah,
very
okay.
much back.
Miranda,
We
thanks
were
for
never
dropping
gone.
Yeah, we've been here.
Interstellar Backway, man.
I don't like that one.
Why?
Nope.
What's wrong with that one?
I don't know, it just
It's
makes
a
me
bit too
feel
close to
funny.
Interstellar Doorway.
Yes.
Interstellar
Alright.
back alley deals.
I guess.
Also, if you guys
Hey,
are...
that's me.
Hey, Zoisai, are you, where in Tennessee are you? I am also in Tennessee. I am based in Nashville.
He's actually right outside your window.
Oh, sick. Oh, what's up?
It's actually in your walls.
Oh, in my head. Amazing,
Incredible.
amazing.
Yeah. Clarification for that that weather question. Looks like. Hold on, just a minute.
I got a
Sure.
familiar face here. Lewis
missed
Nags
that.
from West Yorkshire. Hello, Lewis. I was in West Yorkshire about 5 hours ago.
Apologies about that. Cumulus cloud roll apparently is the problem. It's going to clear by 8 p.m. as of the last update. The gusty winds are also an issue, and there's no update on when those will clear.
Interesting. Interesting. We've got a New York in the chat.
New York, let's go.
I am
I'm
from
so
New
sorry.
York.
We were
So
talking about
sorry.
how the videography team just wanted to film in New York, actually. So, without sharing too much, we're kind of desperately searching for filming opportunities out there. So, if you are hypothetically an aerospace company in New York that wants to have us around to look at your production site, get in contact. info@interstellargateway.com.
Contact
No, it's
that
just
now.
contact. It's contact at
Is
Interstellar
it
Gateway.
contact? Oh, for Christ's sake! I'm getting my business email
Please.
and this business email mixed up.
Incredible.
You can go to my company as well if you want, but we do drones, so we might not be as useful. Got one person from southwest of Nashville. Where on earth is Nashville again? Oh wait, it's in Tennessee. Of course.
It's
course.
insulting.
Of
I'm
course.
insulted.
Everyone's in Tennessee for some reason.
Oh, I'm sorry,
From
but I wouldn't be
Latvia. Oh,
insulted if you
jeez.
asked me where Buckminster was.
From Latvia, jeez, it must be pretty late for you guys over there. Holy crap!
That'd be a
It's
wow,
late
yeah.
for me. I'm
I-
feeling it.
I appreciate you guys sticking around through the night. But,
Yeah, wow. Large audience, larger than I'd say wider than usual actually. I think we're
Larger
seeing a
than
bit
usual.
more
Wow.
international engagement.
Yeah, do tell us where you're from, guys. Let me hear this.
Please. A little
it's
bit,
interesting to see how far and wide we reach.
yeah. A little bit on the speculation side, because I think, I'll let the chat fill a bit and do some good old-fashioned speculation. We know that Rocket Lab has been speaking about manufacturing the reaction wheels for Kuiper for a while. And the thing is, what else is Rocket Lab making besides a bunch of satellite parts? They're also making a rocket. They're making a big rocket called Neutron. Well, big rocket, it's a medium launch vehicle, about 12 tons to low Earth orbit, in a downrange expendable drone ship landing kind of style. That's about Falcon 9's return to launch site payload. So the thing is, if they're making a big launch vehicle and they're already providing parts for the Kuiper satellites, who knows? They might get a bundle deal. And with Amazon's strategy of buy literally every single rocket we can, there might be some like launches coming Rocket Lab's way in the future. Quick disclaimer, Rocket Lab is a publicly traded company. This is not financial advice, and I do not believe anyone in this call owns any portions of Rocket Lab stock. So,
Nope.
Zero
I think I own one share for the meme, but
All right, we need to disclose that. We need to disclose
Yeah.
that.
That's the
Exactly.
disclosure,
Get that on a
Thank you.
website.
Thank you, Miranda. Listen to zero of Miranda's opinions on Rocket Lab from here on out.
Yeah, none of Miranda's opinions are legally
Hey.
binding. They don't represent financial advice. Investing in Rocket Lab is at your own risk.
actually, my
Wow.
financial advice is to short the hell out of
have
Rocket
that?
Lab. But
No,
no,
Miranda,
no, no,
Oh,
no.
God.
no,
Wait.
no,
Not representative of Interstellar Gateway LLC. It's not true. It's not true. My financial advice is you should probably go buy some coffee.
Yeah. My
Or you can
personal-
buy
Staying
us
up for
some
this
coffee
launch in
by
particular.
joining. You can also buy us some coffee by joining our membership program here on the YouTube channel.
Oh,
all I
that
got.
was sweet.
That was
That
smooth.
was
Yeah.
good. That was good.
That's all I got
That
for
was
you. If you want
Incredible.
exclusive content and some early access to releases, definitely consider joining our membership on the YouTube channel. And if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We make amazing content featuring rocket launches, and we do the occasional, fun live stream where we make our CEO play Kerbal Space Program. So we also just put out a edited version, kind of a highlight of us forcing our CEO to play KSP. So if you are into that and you want to have a laugh, definitely go check that out after this live stream.
I will
Duty
say as
explained.
well, I could not possibly have my company card funded sirloin steak meals with caviar if it wasn't for the membership. So please do keep them coming.
Wait,
I
you
haven't
guys
had
are
a proper
getting paid?
brisket. Yeah,
There's
you're
money
just
in
left there.
this?
You're left over there with the Happy Meals, and I'm getting like the 5-star Michelin briskets.
The
Nightly.
tier levels are crazy.
with the Minecraft movie toys in them. That's gotta specify, all right. Me and Miranda are living at some levels of luxury. You can't misrepresent
true.
the benefits that come in this company.
By the way, since
know,
we're on
I
the
saw-
topic of sorry, Miranda, to step in quickly. We're on the topic of members. I know some people have been talking about the Starship series and wanting to see an actual full-length episode. I can now say I am cooking, and to let me cook, give me a month, give me 2 months. We're gonna drop something good. So just keep an eye on the YouTube, keep an eye on the socials.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think out
Quantify
of all
is stuffing up a meal.
I'm frying that shit, man.
Yeah,
It's
I
all
think
to
out
me.
of all of our ongoing projects, the Starship series is definitely one of the things I'm most proud of. I'm not directly involved in it, but you can see the effort that goes into it just watching it. It is mind-boggling.
And we will probably release behind-the-scenes cuts as well on the members section. So without being too much of a shill, do check it out. This stuff does all come at quite a big loss to us, so it's good to put some money into it.
Lost
Yes,
financially, but a gain emotionally and spiritually.
It's true, true. Many years slaving away in the Interstellar Gateway workhouses
Oh my god. They're gonna
for
believe
two
you.
for 2 shillings a day. Can you believe that? 2 shillings.
Listen. I don't even know what a shilling is, okay?
I don't know what a shilling
I
is,
get
but
paid
I
in
want more
get paid in USD. Sure, it's like the
I get
cents,
$1 an
pennies,
hour,
but
one
come on.
proud American dollar.
That's pretty good. I'm impressed.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, we're crossing T minus 31 minutes now, I believe. Actually, coming up on 30, so we're not
we
too far away from launch. Can we, should we get another Brandon Wind update? Earth to Brandon, radio check. Do we have you? Are you there?
And if not, I can read. Okay,
I'm
yes, please.
here. I'm here.
Hello,
and
Brandon.
losing brain cells by the minute.
Can we get an updated Brandon Wind assessment, please?
Yes, I need the meteorologist Brandon to put his hat on.
Well, it's still windy.
Still windy. Excellent.
Incredible.
Thanks, Brandon. Have you got possibly a relative term, like more or less, that you could add on to that? What are we thinking?
We're just still windy.
It's gray, and the wind is blowing hard.
Wow.
He's a man
Okay.
of many words.
Well, it was great and blowing hard like 20 minutes ago. Is it worse now? Is it the
It
same?
is. I'll say this. The sky surrounding the launch pad is gorgeous. We got ourselves a cute little Florida sunset getting ready to happen here right around 7:40, right around our T0 for Atlas 5 tonight. But if you're looking at the launch pad and the vehicle on the launch pad, you wouldn't really know it. If you're standing
Might be-
outside in Florida right now, the likelihood of becoming a human kite is pretty high. I believe the PGO is set at 70%, so you got 70% kite weather out here, human kite weather. And yeah.
Very
Yeah.
well. Thank you for the assessment, Brandon. We'll keep that in mind. We'll use that to inform our models. You can go back
I
to
do
your
what I can.
go back to
I do what I
your car now.
I'm here for the
Okay, that's one belief.
human kite levels of wind.
Might be,
That's good to sit
might-
there, actually.
Might be worth asking, do we have any chance of getting a jellyfish effect on this fine evening?
From here on the ground in Cape Canaveral, it is unlikely given the time. Right at sunset, jellyfish effect usually is most optimal within the first hour post sunset, as you want the sun to be reflecting off of the plume, the gases being expelled from the rocket in the upper atmosphere, while it being dark for the viewer on the ground. However, if they push later into the launch window tonight, it is extremely likely. But that would also require the clouds to get the heck out of the way, which they don't seem to want to do at the moment. So we'll see. We'll see what tonight brings.
Gotcha. Well, at least there is a silver lining if they push a little bit further.
Yes, find the silver lining and everything. For any of our viewers who are listening and haven't listened into an Interstellar Gateway live before, and are wondering, man, is this kid just dumb or what's going on? I just want everyone to know. Sleep deprivation is a heck of a thing, and I am losing brain cells by the second. So here we
He
are.
is also out at the Cape, to be fair, so we do have to cut the man some slack. He's in a car right now, I believe, so.
I can relate. I was filming a conference all day yesterday and was standing up operating a camera and falling asleep at the same time, which I don't know how that's possible, but it was happening to me. Sleep deprivation is a hell of a thing.
It's a heck of a thing, man.
Respect to both of our very, very poor camera people who are trying their hardest. To
Keyword
resist
poor.
all of the-
Keyword poor.
In all caps.
Yeah,
So join the Interstellar Gateway membership program today. Buy me a coffee. Put caffeine in my body because that is all that my bloodstream runs off of now. And maybe
Wow.
he'll prevent me from just a full Joey level crash out.
Yeah, that's actually
Wow.
what the Interstellar Gateway ration packs are. They're just kind of coffee sachets and water.
Wow.
I was going to say.
Writing that down, merchandise idea.
Coffee enemas, call up Liquid Death. They did one.
Oh no.
Randa, did you want to get a noise in?
Terrible, K.
Mm.
I'm setting up
We may
production
not-
of
It wasn't my idea. It was Liquid Death's idea, okay? Don't come for me.
All right. I'll
Miranda,
I'll-
talk
we,
to
uh,
us. Talk to us, Miranda.
Sure, we might not all be at 100% capacity, but we will give you 110% up until ULA says we're done. So yeah.
Yeah, ULA decides when we stop.
Ain't that the truth?
Please, Mr. Bruno.
And after
Please.
that, I'm darting off straight to the gym and then getting
Oh,
some
please.
sleep.
What time is it
Mr.
there, Paul?
Mr. Salvatore Bruno, if you happen to hear this, please.
Interesting. We have a chat from Binghampton. Great username. He says, sitting in the launch party room at Kuiper right now, everyone is excited but also anxious. The tension keeps getting popped by people bumping into balloons. If unverified, but if true, that's pretty funny actually. We have an insider.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, why
Exactly.
if Binghampton, if you're at the launch party, just curious how you found our stream and
Why are you watching our
thank
stream?
you. But like, can you share it around the room?
Please, if you can get Mr. Bezos on the line, we'd be very appreciative.
We
Can
would
we get
love to
Mr.
tap
Bezos
him
in the
into a
chat?
call if we can just get him on the phone real quick.
Yeah, Bezos, Mr. Jeffrey, we just want 5 minutes of your time.
Mr. Jeffrey,
Mm.
sir. Give me 30
Jeffrey,
seconds. Give you an elevator pitches amount of time, and you'll still have time at the end of the elevator pitch to talk about the weather and baseball.
Yeah, Binghampton has replied in the chat. Yes, I work in Kuiper. I'm part of the OSIL team. I can verify this. This is true.
Perigi,
Interesting.
you know Binghampton.
I do, in fact, know Binghampton. Hi, Bing.
Hey.
I'm mildly terrified of what I say publicly. Anyway, I hope you guys at Kuiper are having a great time. And when all goes according to plan, I hope you guys have a bunch of big cakes set out to eat somewhere. I hope it's a comically large cake, and you guys have fun for the rest of the day because you guys have all earned it.
Yeah,
Those of
exactly.
you who aren't familiar with that acronym, OISL, that's Amazon's term for optical inter-satellite link. So these are links between satellites using lasers. I think they're 100 gigabits per second, publicly stated. up to 2,600 kilometers. So they're pretty beefy things. SpaceX has developed this technology as well. This is kind of a game changer in terms of satellite-to-satellite communication for constellations, and that's what enables really high-rate data transfer.
Real quick, if I could jump in, I know I was being a little bit of a silly goose here about 5 minutes ago, but I do have an actual update here from the press site about 2.5 miles away.
Nope. They took him.
Waiting launch
He's
of
gone. Wait.
Kuiper.
Sorry, Brandon. Start that again. Back.
yeah,
You cut off.
You're cut out there. One more time, please.
Okay, so I have an actual legitimate update from here at the press site just outside of Pad 41, where Atlas V is currently awaiting launch. Weather is improving the further that we get into the launch window. ULA is still currently targeting 7:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Winds are coming down, and the cumulus cloud, which was the cumulus cloud watch item, which was the biggest weather launch item, is slowly moving into the green. So weather appears to be improving as we get closer to T0 tonight.
Good to hear. Thank you, Brandon. See if we can pull up a
Oh,
weather
yeah.
radar or something and keep an eye on that as well, if we have any data like that.
Ooh, I have heard word in the back channels that we have a second cat watching the stream.
We
Do
do
we?
have. We do indeed have a second
Who would
cat
this cat
in the chat.
belong to? Good lord. That's a fluffy cat, man.
A fluffy cat.
Can we possibly
Well,
bring this up on stream, Mr. Emlyn? For those of you who don't know, Emlyn in the back rooms, he's controlling our stream. He's our stream god. Very faithful man. See if he can bring this image up for us. Look at that.
Here she is. This is Parker. She has entered the chat and she has entered the box. Parker's favorite activity includes getting the zoomies at 3 a.m. and jumping on top of my refrigerator. Everyone say hi
Many
to
such
Parker.
cases. There is a reason that I lock my door at night, and that is I live with a cat now.
Indeed, it is a real
Does the
thing.
cat just like enter your room and zoom you or something?
The cat likes to jump on me in the middle of the night.
That's quite horrifying. I think I'd crash out.
It is quite a
Oh,
way
Big
to
Hampton
be
says,
awoken.
I'm really hoping that the launch goes well because I just got info that I'm going to start shadowing as a flight controller next week. That's pretty cool. Good luck with that.
Yeah, there's
Congratulations.
playing KSP is fun. Playing KSP with actual things in orbit, it's a lot cooler. So enjoy
Maybe
that.
they can get some Kerbals in the in the actual IRL KSP.
That has been done before, hasn't it? I remember a Kerbal mass simulator. Unless I'm hallucinating it.
Jebediah Kerman flew to space on Starliner OFT-2, I think.
Yes!
Wow.
I vividly remember that plush.
There was also a garden gnome on the first test flight of Rocket Lab's Proton.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Paragy, I don't know what your KSP hour log time is, but Binghamton says theirs is 8,000 KSP hours.
I probably match you
Significant.
for that. Depends on if it's just the time counted in Steam, though. I have so many more hours logged in not Steam KSP, but impressive, truly horrifying. We
Let's
really
come
did
off the
throw
topic
away.
of to come off the topic of KFC for just a second, I've heard intel that we're about to see a clip from someone out at the Cape that actually shows how bad the wind is, or was. So we'll see that in just a moment.
Alright, Evelyn, roll it.
Let's have a look-see. Oh, good lord. That's pretty windy, man. Look at those waves.
Ooh. No bueno. Jesus.
I can see why they were holding.
Oh boy.
Unless they wanted to do an
Ooh,
astro-style
boy.
power slide.
Wow. Worth noting, this thing is going to slide one way or the other, because it is a lopsided vehicle.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Yeah,
That's really fun how Atlas can fly with asymmetrical boosters.
Yeah, they did unfortunately remove that capability with Vulcan, but
Boring.
No, excuse me. They did not remove Vulcan's ability to fly with asymmetric thrust. As we saw, on the what was it? I think it was Cert 2 when the nozzle dropped off. So actually, they've added it back
Actually,
in
it works.
with a detachable nozzle feature.
Oh my
This
god,
is
welcome
true.
back, smart reuse.
But in a nominal scenario, we shouldn't see that on Vulcan, whereas it is very much a feature and not bug on Atlas.
I do enjoy how ULA often have these comical little micro failures that don't actually affect the mission. The nozzle falling off? Come on.
All right, I do have a update from ULA here. Quote, all 3 cryogenic tanks on the rocket have been topped up to flight level. That gives us a fully fueled rocket to launch today. So it seems that as of right now, they are still holding towards that 740 T0.
Very good. Very good. There's also been a visibility chart, which seems extremely confident about how people can see the rocket as it's launching. And
Yep,
really? Are Detroit really going to see this?
I think that would be hoping
That would be
for
crazy.
a miracle and also hitting green at the same time. Yeah,
That would
I'm
be
out
very
here in
amazing.
I'm out here in Washington D.C. and I might step out to take a peek at the window, but my hopes are essentially nil.
It's awfully unlikely. But we are
Yeah.
crossing T-minus 70 minutes and 30 seconds, so hopefully there's not much longer.
Yep.
We have Unforgettable saying 803 EDT now apparently for T-minus 0. I haven't seen that confirmed, but I'll take a look now. Haven't seen any announcement from ULA about it.
Yep.
Well, I'd believe it.
Space
Yeah,
Ultra
I've
commenting
seen
how
that.
Third 2 also had a perfect orbital insertion. The ULA teams are very, very good at guidance, navigation, control. I will
Yeah.
give that to them. They are extremely good at it.
Yeah. Definitely something that ULA excels at. Their flight computers are kind of able to optimize well in the air. Because when you think about it, if they delay 2 hours into the mission, not only are the propellant temperatures and all that going to be a little different than if you launched at the start of the window, but also the Earth would have rotated 30 degrees in that time. So you definitely need your flight computer to be able to take that into account and go, okay, this is what we're doing now. ULA definitely excels at that. There's much less work for the ground controllers to do when the vehicle takes care of all that stuff.
Oh, should we
Sure.
note specifically the interesting orbit that the satellites are going into today and what this may or may not be co-orbital with?
Yeah, so these satellites are headed towards a 630 kilometer, 51.9 degree orbit. However, they are being deployed into a 450 kilometer orbit, which, if you happen to be a little tuned into the industry and all this, the ISS is at about 420 kilometers and 51.6 degrees. So, give or take a little bit of play, it is coming awfully close to the ISS. God willing, we don't see any issues, TM, but it is could be a problem if there are any satellites that like fail orbit raising or go off sideways or something wild like that. Could become a problem with the ISS.
I have to step
Hopefully
in
the
here,
most we
Miranda,
get-
because we have just had an announcement from the ULA launch director, Eric Richards, with a new coordinated launch time of 8:03 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. They've stated that the cloud cover is now acceptable, but they're still continuing to wait on winds, so that tells me winds are still out of range.
Yep. And I
Hopefully
think
the
that
only
means...
thing you get from the ISS is some cool photos.
Yeah.
Gonna put that
Now,
there.
it
Yeah.
should be noted. It's not a massive, necessarily the biggest collision risk ever. They're not like on the exact same orbit. There's a little thing called longitude of ascending node, which describes like where your orbit is kind of like rotated around the Earth rather than just the degree. I do not believe it is the exact same longitude of ascending node. However, it is a little bit close.
Yeah, it's close enough to where I take a second look and go,
Yeah, exactly. Little risk. Kuiper can have a little risk as a treat.
Well, I would like
Yeah.
not to see the ending scene from Gravity above my skies this evening, so if it could have accurate insertion, that would be great.
Mm, mm.
Awful
Oh,
movie,
yeah.
by the way. If I can just take a moment to shit on Gravity. Awful film. Don't know how many of you in the chat have seen it.
Oh Lord,
I
saw
have
it on
not
a
had the
plane.
displeasure of seeing that.
Honestly, it may be worth watching it just so you can hate it. Just so you can be justified in your hatred.
I saw it once on, I think it was like a Southwest flight or something. I don't remember. I do not remember. Whatever it was, the airline sucked, and somehow the movie was still the worst part of that whole flight. So
Wow.
It's a shame as well because it's a wonderfully orchestrated, in terms of direction, space movie that has really good music and really good CG, and a good cast. But then it's just stupid. Everything's wrong. It's a
they could
silly
have
premise.
only used it on something better that was not abysmal.
Yep. I'm pretty sure actually Gravity. I think it might have had more CG budget than Interstellar, but I'll work to check that.
Oh no.
If
Oh.
true,
You're telling
big.
me more
Oh.
of a budget, and they didn't plant buy a farm and plant a bunch of corn. And still a bigger budget. That's crazy.
Boo.
That's
Boo.
Let me check right now.
Oh my Lord.
Typing.
Should
Aha, here we are.
CMSA
I
will
can't.
write a strongly worded letter via the UN if a Kuiper satellite fails. Oh no! Strongly worded letter.
Actually, this is kind of an
CMSA.
interesting conversation point where I remark that Gravity had a budget of 110 million versus Interstellar's 165, and was still 99% worse. So, kind of beautiful.
You're telling me we have 165 million dollars to work with?
Interstellar did. Gravity had 110.
Oh no,
Not
I
sure
meant
where it
us.
went.
They could have bought a Falcon 9 launch for that much. That's crazy.
Yeah, films are
I think
expensive.
Miranda,
Spending
I
nearly-
think we deserve $110 million budget personally.
Yeah,
Oh, we
exactly.
could. I'd like it. Imagine how many sirloin steaks I could get.
Could you imagine
Exactly.
what we could cook with that money?
Did someone just feed Quantify real quick? Bro,
Please,
is
I'm hungry. I am hungry. Right, conversation topic that's actually vaguely related to constellations. The point about constellation satellites failing, what happens when they fail, is quite interesting. Not sure how much everyone in the stream who's maybe listening is kind of familiar with the orbits of these constellation satellites, but they are deliberately lower than most other satellites, and that's for two reasons. You get lower latency, because you're literally closer to the ground, but you also end up with better times in terms of how long it takes them to fall back to Earth in the event of a failure. So there have been some people and some companies floating around a problem that the more and more constellations we see that start to launch, the more the risk kind of increases of different satellites failing, even though they're going to float back to Earth eventually, hitting things in the process. So I'm not sure if anyone has any specific opinions on space debris, but it is something to think about when we're starting to see thousands of satellites launched.
It's in my humble opinion, and Twitter can crucify me for this later.
Oh no.
The thing with space debris is that it's like if you really don't know anything about space, you think it's a huge problem, and then if you know enough about space, you think, oh, it's not the biggest problem, and then if you know more things about space, you think it's, oh no, this is going to be a problem. Because the thing is, it's not really it isn't inherently going to start satellites aren't going to magically start smacking each other for no reason. But when you get things like, communications between nations, for example, the United States and China. So the Starlink debris collision avoidance system is, first of all, it's great. It moves out of the way, for another vessel if there's I think it's a whole order of magnitude higher chance of collision risk. So they're if there's even a smaller % chance of this happening, we're going to move. But then they had a bunch of issues with Tianlong, the Chinese space station, and they were oh shoot, this is almost colliding with our space station. Why was that? It ended up being because there were issues with how the Chinese space station's movements were relayed in space track. which is the U.S. How should I say this? Like the U.S. basically log of where everything is in orbit. And when you have issues communicating like that, and of course there are going to be issues, there are two giant nations with both of them building constellations, then that's where you'd start to get concerned. But like inherently, they probably are not going to be that much of a risk.
In the chat, we have a baguette, unbaguettable, is asking, is it like a 1 in 1,000 or like a 1 in 10,000 collision chance? Do we have like a
1 in 10,000, I believe, is the standard. However, I think for SpaceX it's 1 in 100,000. If I remember correctly off the top of my... Actually, I'm not going to remember correctly off of my top of my head.
I wasn't going to try.
Look.
going into the recesses of your mind?
Yeah. I believe the number was somewhere around 1 times 10 to the 5.
1 in a million says unbaguettable. Looked it up.
Yeah, it's 1 in a million. Yes.
Oh.
1 in 10,000 is NASA's standard.
Space Vulture. I am not certain that the X-37B would be able to fit an entire Kuiper satellite in there.
They could probably chop it up into pieces.
Yeah, but at that
That's
point
not
you're
long.
creating more debris than you're
Send me
out.
up there. I could probably sort it out.
Personally,
Oh, are we doing the plot of 7 Eves here?
Yeah. I'll assemble it on site. So I don't have data, going back to the space debris point, which I think is an interesting conversation. I don't have data on low altitude probability, but on higher altitude probability for like high altitude satellites in terms of collisions, there are estimates that there's a close approach once a year, and that's within 50 meters. So two defunct bits of things coming 50 meters of each other.
50 meters?
50.
I would be
50.
absolutely shitting myself.
Yes.
Yeah, there have been some
it is-
very, very close calls.
That's actually
And there
too
will
close.
continue to be some very, very close calls because of the nature of orbital mechanics. If it happens once, it'll probably happen again at some point in the future, unless those orbits are changed. So
Oh my Manta, what are we
it
gonna
is,
do?
Yeah.
it
But
is very
there's-
much kind of a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
the other thing.
Anything
with
was
this,
that close to me in proximity, I'd be freaking out.
Ooh, yeah.
The
Especially
thing
going
with-
Mach 27.
Yeah, indeed.
The thing is
There
with
are-
those satellites, they're not live satellites anymore. They're all dead ones from like the Cold War.
Which is
So
even worse
the-
because you can't get rid
yeah.
of them.
Exactly. The new mega constellations aren't really bringing in like the risk here. We're just seeing like a larger risk because of more and more satellites going offline with no real procedures to actually deorbit them.
Yeah.
So,
if you
Sorry, Miranda, you go ahead.
Sure. If any of you want to have a little look-see, this is a website that I frequent. The numbers don't update too much, but it is just very interesting to poke through occasionally. Jonathan McDowell, affectionately known as Orbit Police, keeps a log of all Starlink satellite launches and the assumed functionality of them. I'd have to grab the link real quick. It's somewhere on his website /stats, but you can actually see they have very, very, very few satellites that are considered inoperable, and the inoperable ones are all deorbited. They are very good about proactively taking those troublesome satellites out of orbit.
Yep, it turns out the real massive risk is at high altitude, where if things collide with each other, they are going to be at such a high altitude that they probably won't deorbit for centuries. I mean, we're talking loads of tiny little specks of kind of metallic dust that have been sheared off of satellites that are going to be there basically for the foreseeable future. So that renders an entire orbital plane almost unusable, which is awful. And in fact, that did actually happen. Not too high altitude, I believe it was 800 kilometers up. But in 2009, this might be what Space Vulture was referring to, the collision between Cosmos 2251 and a Iridium satellite. So that was pretty disastrous. That caused thousands of pieces of debris. It was 2,000 that were over 10 centimeters in diameter, and then loads of untrackable smaller ones. And this is stuff that's going to stay in the sky for decades and decades, so it's still a massive risk. So sometimes these things do happen. Back then, they didn't have the technology to predict that we do now, but even then, there runs a risk of, what if there's a collision predicted between two defunct satellites? What are you going to do then?
Let them collide because, like, what do you can't do anything about it unless you send
There are
something else to go divert one, right?
Well,
But
there
then
are
you
actually
should
companies working on that.
The interesting thing is that one of those two satellites, that Iridium satellite, was actually not defunct. It could have maneuvered out of the way if it knew that there was anything coming.
Yep, but they didn't know.
That's right, and that's something that like the military right now is focusing a lot. It's called space situational awareness. They want to know where everything is in relationship to everything else, and that's starting to trickle down to private companies. So nowadays we have a much better idea about where everything is.
Right.
Thankfully.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing with flying planes and drones. Situational awareness is huge. So we should have something like that for space materials and vehicles. And in the chat, Binghamton mentioned that a speck of paint / dust cracked the ISS's cupola.
Yes, there is also a hole, a fairly significant hole in one of the ISS's thermal radiators, which came from some kind of micro collision. You can, if you look up ISS radiator hole, you'll see it. It's not, there's no leakage of any kind of fluid, but it is still significant. So these things do happen.
Terrifying, frankly.
There is also the point about relating it to aviation. It's a relatively good comparison, like to understand the scale of things. Like, for instance, it's impossibly hard for two aircraft to collide, but it does miss one thing: two aircraft at like cruise altitude flying towards each other have a closing speed of, I don't know, maybe at most 400, 500 meters per second of ground speed, and then if you go up into space, that can go all the way from 2,000 to something like 16,000. Depending on which way the orbits are going. That's a very, very big difference. That gives you a lot less time to react, and you have to have a lot more certainty. So it's a completely different domain in terms of risk. And if something goes wrong, it's going to make a lot of other things go wrong, which is where the idea of Kessler syndrome kind of floats around, even if it's over-touted sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It is an awful problem, but we'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as long as companies are proactive in managing their satellites and deorbiting problematic ones, there is very little risk. The risk comes when there are so many companies out there launching satellites so regularly, and governments, companies who may not care nearly as much about protecting the skies.
This is kind of where the beauty of space comes in the fact that countries don't have an incentive not to work with each other. Because if a satellite from the US hits a satellite from China, that's awful for everybody. That's not just awful for one side. So it does foster international cooperation. That's part of why we love it.
Yeah.
Beautifully put.
We are now with that poetic statement. We're at T-minus 24 minutes. And it's awfully chilly with not very much happening out at the Cape. You know what? I think it's time for another Brandon weather report. What are we thinking?
Oh boy.
Brandon! Oh, Brandon!
Sorry about that. Had to
Brandon.
hop back in the old IGW wagon to get out of the wind, because if you couldn't imply from what I just said, it is in fact still windy out here in Cape Canaveral.
Can you confirm it's windy as hell out there? Aha, would you believe it? ULA just posted saying weather conditions in the local Cape remain unfavorable for a launch at this time. They're postured to resume the countdown as soon as 8:03 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time if the weather improves. So nothing new on that front.
Yeah.
Brandon, can you confirm? Is that reasonable?
Yeah, I can confirm ULA does know what they're talking about when it comes to the weather here in Cape Canaveral tonight.
Glad to see you've approved. Very good.
That's all that matters.
I've got Daniel.
I will
with
say
it.
this.
Hello,
I will say
Daniel.
this off to my left-hand side, over on the west coast. The sunset is quite gorgeous.
Oh, it's gonna look great on the camera recording.
If we could direct our attention to the chat, Binghamton has said, if I donate money to the stream, it technically comes back to me because I'm getting paid to basically give you guys content, which, you know, is valid, but also it feeds us. So
in that case, yeah, we just take a commission. In that case, if you could give us a few $1 million,
an invite
please.
to an after party, if you need a band to perform at a ULA situation,
if you need a search and rescue drone, hit me up.
Whatever you need, we got you. Okay, we provide not only the content, but we got the music, we got the entertainment, okay? Hit us up via Twitter at Interstellar
Please.
Gateway. If you're not following
Let
us,
us
by the way,
make content out of you.
follow us on all social media platforms. We do a little bit of shit posting every now and then on Twitter, and we would love for you to follow along.
Speaking of which, one of our team members, Daniel, has actually donated $5. Just kind of circulating back into IGW. Hello, Daniel. Thank you very much.
We love circuity here, okay? We love it.
He loves security. Lets me have my sirloins.
Oh my god.
I'm hungry,
Also,
man. I'm hungry.
Your support
you
also
were-
does help us, get better gear for these live streams, things like that. So everything you guys contribute to these live streams and to Interstellar Gateway as a whole does truly help us provide better content for you all in the long run. So just again, thank you guys for joining.
Gear is expensive. Very, very
Yeah.
expensive.
Oh,
One
yeah.
lens can set you back $3,000 comfortably.
Yeah, I'm not going to throw any specifics out there, but we have a laundry list of gear that we're looking to acquire, and hoo boy, any and all donations, shares, likes, retweets, etc. are very helpful.
Yeah, the Rolexes aren't cheap.
Oh my god.
What?
I'm embezzling the funds, man. Didn't you know?
Don't
I've
say
got this.
that. It's being a back channel, man. Come
Darn
on,
it!
man.
Wish I
Wow.
thought of that.
I should keep
You know-
that to the private channel.
Yeah, your boss is in the chat with you, you know.
that's where the camera money is going. Right into the offshore bank accounts.
Honest about it.
Whoopsies.
I say as
Oh,
I am
Lord.
setting up my new PreSonus studio monitors because my M audios started buzzing 2 weeks ago and it's gotten significantly.
Ooh.
I could
We're
do
out
with
here.
some of those.
Yeah.
PreSonus are pretty good, man.
Speaking of new equipment, for those of you who regularly tune into our live streams, you may notice my microphone is not complete dog shit nowadays.
Yeah.
It's actually
Yeah.
normal now. She sounds fine.
Yeah, I would like to thank Annie and all of you who have ever given us any support of any form. I now have a non-crap microphone.
Binghamton.
Speaking of
$10
support.
super chat. Let's
Ben
go.
Buckaroo, that's like a quarter of a sirloin right there. Sorted. Thank you, Mr. Binghamton. I'll take it. No, for real though,
space-
it does. We do appreciate it. It is extraordinarily difficult to break into the kind of space media scene, especially when you're dealing with having to travel hundreds and hundreds of miles for launches that often get cancelled. So you've got your accommodation costs, you've got your food costs, using cameras that cost tens of thousands.
Yeah, you can just do the napkin math and see that. Holy crap! This is a venture that is not easy to start up. But we're doing our best, and glad that all of you are joining us for the ride.
Yes.
It'll be fun at least.
We will have Interstellar Gateway merchandise available soon enough for all of those who followed me back in the paragearrow.com/shop days, which are now over. We will
Heartbreaking.
have plenty of merchandise for you available soonish. So you guys are gonna love what's coming.
Let me divert the topic just for a second. I say divert. I see that there's a little typing icon on the ULA website. So I think we're about to get a live update.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
No.
That can't be good.
Apparently, just
Yep,
thinks
live
it's bad
update.
news.
Atlas 5 has exploded. Billions are dead. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Trillions have perished.
Binghamton, you should have kept your your super chat. You might need it.
Yeah.
Also, I have just... oh,
Let's see if you want to go ahead with that, Con.
no, it was off topic, Miranda. You go ahead.
All right. We just got a teaser update. Once again, we are no longer launching at 8:03 p.m. We are now launching at 8:22 p.m.
I am Sisyphus. I feel like Sisyphus.
Yep.
It's
Every single time we roll that rug up to the top, it just comes.
They're just going to
Oh,
keep counting
oh,
back
yeah.
endlessly. They're going to have a night shift.
Miranda,
Yeah.
the sirens in the background are fitting of what's
yep.
going on right now.
Yep. Let me mute. Hold on one sec.
And I will say, if I can just complain, I just decided to sign my signature on my debit card. And unfortunately, I messed it up. And I'm never getting rid of that. So I have to live with that shame now. I just wanted to share that with you, Perigi.
Wow.
Mr. Perigi Aerospace, you are missing out on some business here because Mix Binghamton is trying to show your posters to Kuiper employees, and the website's no longer up.
Oh
Dog,
no!
I cannot keep this thing running forever. I make no money from it anymore, and it's like $30 to run. Please,
Domains.
download them. I spent $30 for a whole month.
Let's see. We have somebody in chat saying a bit of New Glenn vibes with the delays. Yep. 20 more minutes. 20 more minutes.
Just
don't
20 more
wanna
minutes,
hear
guys.
it.
I swear we'll launch.
Another 20-minute recycle be upon ye.
And just to read out that exact announcement from the ULA launch director, ULA launch director Eric Richards has instructed the team to coordinate a new launch time of 8:22 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We remain held up by the cumulus cloud rule and winds. That is not good. Before they had better clouds, now they're back to bad clouds. So this is
Ugh.
starting to look bad.
Yes. Ugh.
If anyone here has a comically large bicycle pump and can point it at the Cape sky, please begin pumping. We would like to see this thing fly today.
Exactly. Please.
I must say, the back channels are beginning to crash out.
Quant, you talking about a ridiculously large bicycle pump that just gave me like World's Fair type of vibes. Like that would be something somebody would be demonstrating or selling at a World's Fair type of situation in like the 1900s.
I was going to say, it strikes me as a kind of trinket that you'd be shown at some like stupid circus. Step right up for your comically large bicycle pump.
Get your bicycle pumps here.
All right, let's try and talk about rocket, shall we? Miranda, go right ahead.
All right, I guess we're blabbing about the rocket. It's that time of night. All
Rocket,
right.
Atlas V, big rocket.
Yeah. So earlier, Mr. Space Vulture did mention in chat about the Atlas V fairing options, how they're rather interesting. And that is right. There are actually a few fairing options for this particular rocket. There is the 4XX fairing, which is the 4-meter option, which is actually no longer being produced. The last one of those flew, I believe, in late 2023, if I'm not mistaken. So that fairing is produced a little bit differently. It's I believe it is a aluminum, like a corrugated type material. And that's not what we have here on our screen today. What we have here is the 5XX fairing, which is a 5-meter diameter. That is housing the 27 Kuiper satellites, which are hopefully going tonight. God willing. Yeah, we do have a little over a half hour left in window. So worst case, if they push it again, they have all the way until 9 p.m., at which it is 7:48 at the moment.
There is actually oh, go on.
I was just gonna say, Miranda, be careful with the pronunciation of aluminium because you're going to offend the Brits in the chat.
The Brits
aluminium.
the Brits can go right to sleep.
Aluminium. That is.
Yeah.
It's not aluminum. That you're just missing letters. You're
That's
missing
how we
letters.
say it. How we
You're
say
We
it.
are.
you're
I've started a war.
you're
You know what? We
missing
landed.
fire.
All right, look, we landed on the moon. We get to say it however we want. Okay.
And I'm so glad that we use the great material Einkanel in making our rape to rocket engines.
Yeah, Binghamton, you are correct. This fairing is extended. So kind of a weird misconception is the Atlas V 5-meter long fairing was never actually a thing. This is technically a medium fairing. You can actually see on that ULA footage in the middle there is kind of a extra ring in the middle. So this is the medium fairing. That extra length just lets them house a little bit more payload. And this particular batch of satellites does need that longer fairing.
There's also a particularly interesting point here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Miranda. I believe Centaur is enclosed inside the fairing with these larger fairings, isn't it?
That's correct. Yeah, on that ULA view, you can see that kind of adapter, that conical shape. That kind of transfers the load up into the fairing. But there is also Centaur 5 hanging out at the bottom there. The 4-meter, the 4-meter fairing, the Centaur is not within that fairing.
Quick correction, Miranda. It is a Centaur 3, not a Centaur 5.
Yep. My apologies. Centaur 5 is what is used on the Vulcan Centaur rocket. Right now, as you can see on your screen, you are staring at an Atlas, which is kind of an endangered species at the moment.
I think endangered is quite a. It's not really a sufficient term considering they are going to die out very, very quickly. Their
Yeah, they have
deadline's
a
already set.
they have a finite period of time left.
Yeah.
Um,
Miranda.
Oh, we've
If
just
you-
got on another apology if I can step in. Another update here from ULA. Just to summarize, the cumulus clouds are violating the eastern portion of the 10-mile ring around the launch site. Winds also are above the safe liftoff limit. I don't think that's flying today. That is awfully bad.
Ugh.
Yep, weather is not great, but as we said earlier, we will be here until ULA releases us. So
I just want to go train my back, man.
yeah, listen, we have seen worse weather clear up at the most inopportune times when we all thought it was Jover, and here we are, and yeah. So we're
Since
at
we're go on, Miranda.
yeah, we're at just over T-minus 30 minutes from the latest time we have. Although we definitely expect that to get pushed back again. So
One of many.
we shall see.
I will make I'll make the quick comments, which I think is quite interesting to those of you who aren't familiar with Atlas, as people like Miranda and Perigi, like myself. Atlas is quite a modular rocket in that you can just strap on more boosters depending on how much performance you need.
Yeah, just like the Kerbal space program saying you can just slap on more boosters. So Atlas can be configured anywhere from, I believe you can do what's called a slick configuration, which would be no boosters, or you could go all the way up to 5, which is what we have here today for the most performance. And those boosters are from Northrop Grumman. They are the GEM graphite epoxy motor 63s, which is fun to refer to them as gems, but those are some pretty high performance, pretty powerful solids. And with 5 of them on this vehicle, assuming it does launch today, it will roar off the pad. The thrust to weight ratio on this thing is pretty banging.
Do we have any idea what it is approximately, besides above 1?
Ooh, that is a good question. I want to say, from memory, about 1.8
That's
for the
a lot.
551.
That's a
I know
lot, man.
Yeah, I believe Arion 6 was, oh sorry, Arion 5 is 2.16, which is similar in the sense that it gets most of its thrust from 2 solid rocket boosters at liftoff. So this sort of vehicle has a hell of a lot of kick when it's getting off the pad. It starts to slow down a bit once those boosters drop off.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So I might want to note that when we were saying that there's like 0 to 5 boosters, that does include all the weird numbers. You might think like, oh, that's going to cause it to slide all over the place and
Correct.
not be good. We've seen 1 solid rocket booster Atlas 5s that they'll quite literally like slide off the pad. You can see them lift off and they start going diagonally. There's
no.
the 3
I believe
engine.
I believe ULA officially does call that 1 solid rocket booster the big slider.
That's
in
fire. That's awesome.
As Binghamton has said in the chat, as someone that works on Kuiper, it's like literally adult Legos, and I, for one, would love a Kuiper Lego set, please.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that would be pretty cool, getting to build like little
Right?
satellites and launch them in the Lego rocket. That would be cool.
You know, there is a off-brand Firefly Blue Ghost quote-unquote Lego set, if you wish to acquire that. It would be available on fireflymerch.com.
I am going there currently.
It is very expensive. If I recall, it's about $55. But I will shill for my favorite company.
Put it on the company card.
Listen, the blue. Hold up. The Blue Ghost merch is hard though.
It is. I very much agree with that.
Oh, let me just add to cart.
Yeah.
Oh, I can use shop pay. Love that.
I believe
Yeah.
the ULA live stream right now is just going through the weather radar, showing not good in many directions. So, my technical analysis is rocket no go to space today, possibly.
Mm.
But I want Rocket to go to space.
Unfortunate. Bad for you. Bad news.
It's over.
Rocket go too much sideway. Rocket trajectory not good. Make the explode.
Make big blue boom boom.
Actually,
I might be having a stroke here.
it's
Does
possible.
this
It's
smell like
possible.
toast? What's happening?
Talking about flight termination systems, this is going to be a bit of a throwback. What was that one Starship flight? Was it SN9 that came through the fog and just kind of blew up somewhere?
No, that was
That was
SN11.
SN11.
SN11 even. Good lord. I vividly remember watching that and seeing little steel pieces falling from the sky and thinking, oh, that's not how it's meant to go.
There are some amazing live view or recorded views of that thing. Just you can't even see the vehicle. You just see an orange glow, hear a sound, and then start see metal raining everywhere.
Oh,
And it is a hell of a video, but not one you want to see in place of your rocket.
goodness me.
Luckily, it's not quite as cloudy out here, but as you can see from the view on the left, it is windy and still pretty overcast. So I'm not entirely confident about how this is going to go.
To quote one of my favorite memes of all time, it fucking windy.
It is fucking windy.
To quote one of mine, weather is sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Wow.
Oh, we've just had a comment from Jacob S in the chat. Welcome, Jacob, asking, is it still going? The correct answer is we're not entirely sure. They're trying, but the range is in an awful condition in terms of weather. There are cumulonimbus clouds, which are kind of loitering around inside the range, and also unacceptable winds, which are above their flight limit. That doesn't look like it's changing. We're keeping an eye on it, as are they, obviously. But we'll keep an eye on it for now.
Yeah, unfortunately, they were expecting the winds to back off just a little, just underneath their go no go, but looks like that's not what has happened. If anything, the winds may be getting a little bit worse here. So we shall see. They still do have a little over half an hour in their window to push even further if they need, but it's looking increasingly like we're not getting a launch today.
Yep.
You can actually see on that view from ULA the RD-180 engine nozzle, one of two. And just to clarify, that is one engine, two nozzles, because the Russian stuff is whack AF. But yeah, you could even see that Russian text on there, which is a nice little Easter egg.
Pretty cool. That's part of the reason why Atlases are so endangered, is these are national security concerns. ULA and, of course, NASA wanted to move away from using Russian engines in American vehicles. So they're all American-made now, but obviously that means a vehicle designed around the Russian rockets has to go.
Yeah, that was more so the Air Force for NatSec, but that kind of started in like 2014 after the invasion of Crimea. And after 2022, with the invasion of Ukraine, full stop, that flow of engines from NPO and Energomash and Russia stopped entirely. Which is really a shame, but what you gonna do?
The good news for ULA was they'd already taken delivery of the engines that they'd ordered by then, but of course, I mean, they couldn't get any more. So,
all right, guys, I have another update here. The T0 has shifted to 8:39.
Oh my god! I want to go to the gym. I want to go to the gym.
Let us go, ULA, please.
Yeah.
Make a decision.
I don't think it's going to space today, man.
I don't either, but I wish they would just tell us.
Yeah.
They're
Listen,
playing
in the from a fantastic song, it ain't over till it's over.
You should do the Interstellar Gateway remix. It ain't Jover till it's Jover.
I have a quick saying. I'd like to just convey the wisdom of TULA. Please, ULA, Delulu is not the Solulu. Okay, come on. not
It
getting
ain't. It
on
ain't
that.
happening, man. It ain't happening. Go
Just
home.
give up. Just
Crack
give up.
open.
bro. You're cooked.
Crack open Overwatch or something. Just chill out, man. I don't care. Just stop.
So grateful
Yeah.
for those of you that are still watching the live stream. Thank you guys. We are going to sit here with you until we figure out what the heck we're going to do.
Yes, welcome. Got a question here from Binghamton asking, does SpaceX have the cloud rule? So, in terms of rocketry, overcast clouds is not really a concern because rockets don't need to be able to see. What is the concern is clouds that contain loads of static or clouds that contain loads of wind, as is the case with clouds like CP, cumulonimbus. Incredibly windy, filled with lightning. You don't want to be launching into those conditions. It's not healthy for electronics, it's not healthy for the actual rocket structure. So they do have them. But more often than not, we see flights delayed due to winds. So it's actually pretty rare that you have clouds like this invading a launch space.
Yeah. On occasion, you could just set SCE to aux and be fine, but typically it's not something you want to play with.
Yeah, this is kind of a problem that plagues all launch providers. SpaceX just launches so often that it seems like stuff goes wrong less frequently, but in reality it does. When they scrub, no one notices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the funky thing about SpaceX is they have they since they do load and go with propellant, they can't do anything other than instantaneous launch windows once they start fueling. But for Starlinks in particular, they often have a number of windows picked out beforehand that they can pick and choose from. So before they begin the fueling process, they can delay to a point where they know they'll have good weather, which is really helpful when they're trying to kind of thread the needle between bad weather and good. So if you go on like Celestrak, which is a great website by the way, for certain Starlink missions, they'll have upwards of a dozen different potential launch windows all on the same day. They get the choice to pick and choose.
That's kind of what you get when you have such reliable launch operations, in the sense that they can be ready to go with such short notice.
Yeah, you can see on the streams that they do still provide coverage of live. You can see the mission control in Hawthorne is occasionally quite a lot emptier than it used to be for launches, because they're automating systems, or people are remote, or they've just simplified the launch process enough to where it's more or less idiot proof. Yeah.
There's a interesting reference here to Apollo 12 from Binghamton about the lightning incident. Are there any Apollo nerds here? Because I'm not that much of one.
Yeah. I think that was in reference to my set SCE to aux joke. So Apollo 12 did actually get hit by lightning. And as a result, there was some electronics issues, TM. And they were able to flip a switch that was able to get them all the way to the moon. So, yeah. Thankfully, they had that quick thinking and training, and were able to make it out alive.
Yeah, they actually had 2 lightning strikes, if I recall. Had to switch off a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, the first.
Typically, you do not want to be in a tin can heading to a very distant land with no electronics. So, thankfully, they were able to iron that out.
I think that might have happened in our Kerbal Space Program gameplay the other day.
Yeah. Yeah. And just these views on stream, I want to clarify, are not present. These are from ULA. This is their Vulcan Centaur rocket, which, as you may know, has already launched twice and is definitely gearing up for a lot more launches. Let's see.
Soon, hopefully.
Yep. I'm actually looking at a bit delayed. It might be gone now. Let's see.
Dawn, it's
wondering if
34
we
minutes
can-
now, still counting down.
Yeah, Brandon, how are you feeling out there? Are you still flying away? How are we looking?
Hey, can we get a Brandon weather report?
Earth to Brandon. There he is.
Brandon Wind.
Brandon wind is an accurate assessment of the current weather conditions. It is darker than it was before because, in case you guys weren't aware, we orbit the sun, and the sun rises and sets every day. So the sun has set.
That sounds
here
too
in
good to be true.
Canaveral. It's a little bit dark outside, just as windy as before, and optimism seems to be slowly fading from the CAD-41 press site here in Cape Canaveral.
I appreciate the professional nature of your weather and orbiting the sun update. Thank you.
Yeah.
I do what I can. Trying to operate as smoothly as possible with the few brain cells I have remaining. I am extremely tired.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I am extraordinarily tempted to go grab an emergency hot dog to keep me going through this stream. Because if I'm
Yeah.
going to hit the gym at 2 a.m., I damn better be fueled for it.
Yeah. Not to get too into the weeds about it, but Brendan was up all night getting up to shenanigans. So the fact that he's out there at all, 2 cheers for Brendan, because it can't
Thank
be
you,
easy.
Brandon. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Brandon. I hope it does launch right at the end
I
of the window,
live,
just so he
I
can
live
actually
the
see it.
IGW life, people. There's no need to thank me. I choose this. This is the best job in the world. I'm thankful for this team. Seriously, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. This is the best job in the world. I would not rather be doing literally anything else with my time. However, my body can only handle so much.
Brandon,
Is it- is it-
I'll send
is it preparing you a little
payment.
pen?
I'll send your payment later for saying that. Thanks.
Yeah. Is someone cutting onions in here?
Oh, the fairing
Well,
wobble.
that
The
is-
fairing wobble.
That
I
is an
forgot
officially sponsored statement by me.
Of course. I have to say, that night sky is... They're actually
Yeah,
looking
that
awfully
is-
similar between these two shots. That's pretty cool.
That is very pretty.
Unfortunately, our shot is a little bit more choppy because of the awful connection. And ULA have
A lot
actually
of
managed
it.
to get a better connection than us, which is awesome. Congrats, guys.
Yeah.
Great
ULA is not operating off of an iPad hotspot.
Incredible.
Brandon, not sure if you're reading the chat on YouTube, but Binghampton said, Brandon is like Ollie the weatherman from Family Guy right now. Ask him what kind of soup he wants. What kind of soup do you want, Brandon? He's gone. He's been taken
It's been
Man.
taken. They took
by
him.
the wind gods.
Okay, ULA, come on, gotta get closer into the.
Come on, man. Let me
Can't do
launch.
Please.
Oh, he fixes this. Yes, Mr. Metal Laser Starlink does indeed fix this.
Starlink does indeed fix this. Right, you know what? We've reached a stage of the stream where I am getting a little bit too hungry to continue, so we may have to consider a midstream snack. I'm open to suggestions here. Unfortunately, the situation out here in Quantify HQ is dire. We have very little food procured at this time. I could make an emergency pizza, but that's too big. Could make emergency hot dog, but that takes too long. Could make emergency sandwich, but there's no cheese. What do I do?
I apologize. I briefly had to step away from the microphone. What was the question from earlier?
The question from Binghampton. Well, first of all, Binghampton said, Brandon is like Ollie the weatherman from Family Guy right now. Ask him what kind of soup he wants. And then we had someone else, RD270, said, in all caps, tell us the soup.
Chunky!
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon. That is all. As you were.
No, seriously. I mean, I'm open to suggestions here. Perigi, what do you think I should do?
You got any Stroop waffles?
I ran out. I ate them all.
No.
Would you
It's
believe?
over.
I like an entire Didn't you buy them in bulk?
Yes.
Or am I thinking of somebody else?
Yes.
What?
Boo. Hold on, what? How'd you run out of them?
Through Buffalo.
Oh, hey, Quant, we got
Hello.
a RD270 in the chat says you could have an emergency cold hot dog.
That's
Oh,
dire,
God.
man. That's
Oh.
dire. If I'm getting
Do
to
not
that stage,
Fire.
Do
You
not
said
consume a
dire.
room temperature dog, please.
it's
Yo,
not even
you're-
room temperature. It's 1 degree Celsius, dog.
Oh.
You know
That's
what?
even worse.
You know what? I am left with no choice. Give me a minute.
Oh
Oh,
my
no.
god.
No.
If you- Oh no, we're gonna get a cold hot dog photo, and I can't do that.
No.
Fellow culinary crime expert, this is far worse than anything I've ever done.
Miranda,
It's a lucky.
I've seen the.
It is a
slop.
luck. Yeah, it is a lucky thing that Quantify is a lot closer to The Hague than I am.
I would say significantly closer to the Hague.
Yeah.
Oh.
God. Oh, this is
Alright.
terrible.
Yeah.
ULA, look at what you've done to us.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
what you
This
get.
is what happens when you don't launch
This-
rockets.
Yep, this is real IGW after dark hours.
It's happening. It's happening. Wait, you know what
After
this
dark.
means, right? We're gonna have to do this again.
Yeah,
Like
no.
tomorrow.
No.
odds are pretty good that we will see most of you, if not tomorrow, in the very near future, if this does indeed scrub.
My
That
goodness.
sucks. Boo, ULA, come on.
Yeah,
It's not
I think
ULA's fault, it's a Florida issue. Like what?
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Blame
like,
it all
put
on
it-
Florida.
put it somewhere else. I will
No,
blame
Fl-
everything on Florida.
yes, Florida is at fault for a great number of things.
Mm.
This is
Mm.
just one more to top the list.
I'm saying,
So true.
man. Like, who thought? I get it. Obviously, location, but like, there's got to be somewhere else with less. Like, this happens every day. By the way, in Florida, there is between like the same time frame every day. There's weather. It doesn't matter what time of year. Sometimes it's just
I
more
would
esque.
I would
But it's every day.
Yeah, I would like to give out a shout out to a great friend of mine, Crayons, whose car I've been in for about 16 hours over the last couple days, and we have discussed a great number of things. One of them was the possibility of a polar launch site in Gary, Indiana.
Listen, that's crazy because most of that town is completely abandoned. As someone that loves exploring abandoned places, Gary is like the place to go.
That's the
insane.
perfect thing. It's completely abandoned, and you can go. There is so much uninhabited or very low inhabitant land, underneath its launch path that you can do polar launches out of Gary, which is
wild.
Yeah. I was not sold on it until I did a bit of research into it myself. It is a serious. It sounds ridiculous, but it is absolutely something that can be done.
It sounds crazy, but you know what would be interesting is you could effectively. So that's about a 7-hour drive for me. I mean, you could effectively film those launches from Chicago if you want to get the water. If you want to go to the Michigan side,
nice.
you know, Boston Harbor. There's so many options. That could be interesting.
I may interrupt for just a second. I can now confirm that. You know, it's kind of poetic, isn't it? We landed on the moon in 1969, and I'm sitting here eating a cold hot dog.
Oh God.
It's.
Oh God.
I'm not having much fun here. It's got the taste, but it's cold.
RD.
Why would you do that, Quantify? Don't do that to yourself.
Because because I don't have a choice.
Well,
No,
RD270
Say
has said
no to chat, Quan.
the cold hot dogs will continue until launch rate improves. Okay.
They better, because I don't like this very much.
I'm gonna @ Tori Bruno on Twitter and say, "Look at what you did."
It's all my fault, man. I could have probably encased this in a bun, actually, and put some ketchup and mustard on it. Considering I have all of those, but...
Oh, God, at least put it in the microwave, man!
Something.
Oh, I forgot I have a microwave. That's a
Oh,
wise...
What do you mean you forgot you had a microwave?
Look, I don't use it very frequently, okay?
Oh my God, Quantify! You can't do this!
I'm an aerospace engineer, not a chef.
Clearly, you're eating a cold hot dog.
Shut up, man. I'm enjoying it. Maybe, if we got some more donations, I could have some live room service so I could have sirloin steak while I present the streams. Speaking of which, you guys should go subscribe.
For more hot
Exactly.
dog mukbangs.
It's not in a
Wow.
bun. I've kind of
I
stuffed
know,
it
but
into a
this is
tissue and
content
eaten
our
it.
members became members for.
You're
Mhm.
just eating the dog by itself. They're eating the dogs.
Oh, God.
Oh no.
I mean,
that's
it's
terrible.
actually, it's not awful. It's got the taste. It's just kind of like, it's like pepperoni. You know pepperoni? Ever had a pepperoni?
No, what the hell is that?
Okay, maybe that's a British thing.
Is that like a rolled up pepperoni and with cheese in the
Yeah.
middle?
No, it's got no cheese in the middle. It's just
Oh,
meat.
see,
It's
here
just
we
meat.
have.
It's
we
like a
have
mini
the
hot
meat.
dog.
We have the meat wrapped around a cheese stick in America at gas stations. It's a
Ugh,
gas station
That's
food.
awful.
It's so disgusting, but it's a thing. It's a just quick gas station snack.
We have a lot of those, don't we, here?
What, gas stations or gas station foods?
Oh, I mean, well, first of all, we do have a billion gas stations, but I mean, like, gas station foods really take,
Oh yeah.
like, there are traditional in like 100 years. If you had to list something like that's like traditional American cuisine, you'd be
Yeah.
lying if you said it's like pancakes and bacon. No, the real one is like gas station slop. You know what
Yeah,
I
like
mean?
fried chicken at a gas station, pizza at a gas station.
Exactly.
And then but it goes into tiers. There's like really bad gas station food, and then there's like Buc-ee's level brisket sandwich gas station food. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, God. Yeah,
There's levels.
I'm
to this.
so jealous of all you Buc-ee's eaters out there, right?
Oh.
Because I have a billion allergies, and I'm not even kidding. When I walked into the first Buc-ee's I ever saw, I had an anaphylactic reaction almost immediately. I hate this life. It is a prison.
If I may digress from the
Please,
conversation
please.
quickly to discuss doomerism, they have just removed the clock from the stream.
Just end the stream.
I am a little bit worried now. I don't
Scrub.
think we're going to space.
I don't either. Just scrub it. Scrub it now. Save us the pain.
Just say it.
Well, we did have another live update from ULA, which was just kind of them rambling on about the cumulus rule. So just discussing how they're trying to avoid rocket-triggered lightning. Nothing really relevant there we haven't already mentioned, but those clouds are still violating the limit. So we are keeping an eye on it, but it does still look like we're not launching today.
Much
Ugh.
upset.
I wanted to see a rocket go.
I did too.
Same here.
But the good news is I have now set up my PreSonus studio monitors and can do some sound design after we get off this live stream.
I'll be straight off to the gym.
I'm gonna be straight off to bed, man. I'm tired.
That's fair.
The grind never stops for Mr. Quantify, man.
Mm,
Lift heavyweight, become big man. It is as simple as that. Seriously.
What are you working out today? Which
I'm working out pinky toes.
Mm.
Pinky
Wow.
toes and thumbs, actually, within a dual
They
split.
gotta be strong. They gotta be strong.
Yeah,
for all-
yeah. 20 reps of pokey pokey.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot. Are you sure you're gonna be able to handle it?
Mate, I can handle anything, man.
Wow.
I need a spotter
wow.
for your pinky toe
That's
pokes.
crazy.
I mean, yeah.
I don't think I can.
Yesterday was ring finger day. I got through that as well.
Today is scrub day. Today is
Oh,
scrub
I
day.
think some people have mentioned the clock is still very there. They just went to a highlight reel, so they just faded it out
Okay.
for a second. So I think
Cool.
we're
Please,
still
ULA.
just waiting.
Interesting. I'm still going to be a doomer about this.
Well, Meh, our friend Meh, the collector, aka Crane Man, says 20 reps
20
of
reps of-
pulling your credit card away from buying a Volvo.
Allow me to digress from rockets for just a minute. This guy makes fun of me because I like Volvo cars, but I want you all to go look at the Volvo 900 sedan. Tell me that is not the most beautiful car you've ever laid your eyes upon. Anyone who says that Volvos aren't the best car on earth is wrong.
Did I hear you right? The 900 sedan?
Yep, the 900,
looks like-
Volvo
that
900
looks like-
sedan.
It looks like the car a serial killer would drive in the
Okay,
80s.
man. Sorry, do you,
I'm
you
sorry,
want,
the 90s, because it was 90 to 90.
what do you want to drive, man? You want to have like your big
drive-
brand new BMW
No,
that leaks
no,
oil
no.
straight off the lot?
No. Listen, my dream car is an El Camino. Okay, it's a Mexican gangster car, and they look sick. Dream car.
But you could have
a
Volvo.
Respectable. Respectable, okay.
Yeah, you know, I like a good
All I'm
like.
saying is, when
19
I inevitably get T-boned by the 5,000 kilogram truck, I would like to be okay at the end of it. That's why I want to drive a Volvo.
You
Well.
should, I'm sorry. Look, all I'm saying, if you want a big, ugly car that will probably kill you still, but like looks like it'll keep you alive, you should invest in the Tesla Cybertruck, dog.
God. It took us only a couple hours to begin Cybertruck posting. How awful.
Oh, it's over. It's so over.
RD270 in the chat saying Volvo also makes excellent marine engines. Volvo make a lot of really good industrial equipment. That's kind of what sets them apart from other car brands, is you can tell they've got that broad spectrum experience. Broad spectrum. Oh, I'm using corporate terms. God.
Did I hear
What happened to
somewhere
me?
that, that I think Mercedes or Mitsubishi, someone's getting back into I think submarine building. I can't remember what it was or who it was, but there's a car manufacturer that's getting
I'm not
back into.
trusting a Mercedes submarine. I'm
I
sorry.
think it's. I don't. I'm looking it up.
God.
Oh, just keeping an eye.
It's-
We might have a live update coming from ULA. Just going to keep an eye on the website here.
It's Mitsubishi, by the way. So
59 window.
yeah,
8:59. Dog,
Yeah.
just let it go. It's over.
that's crazy that they're just like just pulling us along.
Hope window. My God.
Also, yes,
The
it was
end
Mitsubishi.
of the launch window, man. Just let it go.
Just
Oh,
let it
no.
go.
You know?
dog.
Brother, it ain't launching.
Out.
Okay. So, we're now starting to look like my T- to going to the gym is approaching T- for going to bed. So,
Sorry.
I also have a T- for an appointment at 10 a.m. So, it
Oof.
appears we may be pulling an all-nighter.
Oh,
I feel like that's
no.
pretty normal
Oof.
with this company. Is our
That's-
friends over in the UK get the
Better
short
get
end of
a
the stick.
sirloin steak for this man.
Yeah, something.
Unforgettable
Sorry,
is begging
my
ULA
body-
to scrub so that they can go to sleep. Extremely true.
Hey, Quantify, I'm sorry. Due to budget cuts at the corporation, we have reduced your sirloin steak to a 1 McDonald's grilled hamburger
Are
patty.
you kidding me?
Yeah, sorry.
Can I
man.
at least have it with like garlic butter?
We can give you like we can give you like 5 of the ketchup packets. We still have enough money for that.
6. It's a deal breaker, Doji. It's a deal breaker. Give me 6.
Listen, you can have 6, but the 6th one has ketchup outside of it because it got
No.
weird.
Oh
previous-
no, I don't like that. I don't like that.
No one likes that.
Lord, this is what happens. This is what happens when you scrub your rocket launch.
Fortunately, there is only so much rocketry-related chatter we can sustain for 2 continuous hours of holding and holding and holding.
Like, what am I supposed to say? Yeah, no, Kuiper, it'll be so great if it changes the industry. However, to change the industry, they have to get off the pad.
True,
and
to
it
change the
can't
industry, it has to go up.
Yeah,
Let's
like
go
please,
up.
please.
Interesting.
that
I
is-
am hearing chatter in the back channels about something that was announced on the stream.
The ULA stream, to be specific.
The ULA stream, yes,
Alright.
about how a laptop's connection was lost. A GNC laptop, guidance navigation control laptop, at least we're guessing. How?
Probably.
What?
Someone forgot
Why
to
is
plug
there
it
a-
in.
Why is
Ran
there a
out of-
GNC laptop?
Oh my God.
Why is there?
What's happening? What is
Okay,
actually
man.
happening?
I don't get it anymore, man.
Crazy.
To share a Miranda banger that she currently is being quiet about, load-bearing laptop.
Load-bearing laptop. This is
Oh.
like when you have those laptops in a server room with the lid propped open and it has a piece of paper on it that says "Do not unplug or close lid."
Yep.
Why would they do that? Why would it run on a laptop? Dude, first rocket to be controlled off a MacBook. That's crazy.
Just had a text from Brandon in the back channel saying, "Quan, I'm gonna need so many room temperature hot dogs. This man is cooked. This is not a
No.
thing normal men used to want to die in war. What happened?
Oh, we have Joey back in our channel. Joey, would you like to? Oh, you're gone.
Joey,
gonna say-
Joey, Mr. Joey,
Cheers.
you enjoying
Lil.
this, Mr. Joey, Mr. Lil?
He might have
Yeah.
dipped out.
No, he's still here. He is apparently. We're going to assume that the ULA sniper took Joey.
Oh, wow. Man.
Hello?
Hey,
Hello.
Joey.
There we go. He's back.
Hello, Mr. Lil.
Oh, that's not Joey. No, is that Miranda?
Yep, that'd be me. Sorry.
That would be you. No, that was an oddly Joey sounding hello. Right.
Yeah,
So
Gotcha. Sorry about being a little quiet there. I was my headphones had died, so
It is acceptable. We
It's okay.
conveyed absolutely no useful information because it's T-minus 33 minutes and 30 seconds, and we're continuing to hold, as we have been for the past 2 hours now.
Hope the weather situation will clear. Oh my god, that's a crazy thing to tweet with a photo of it looking clear. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, big cloud within 10 miles, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
right on the east side. You can actually see it there on the stream that they're showing.
Yep.
It's a shame, but what can you do?
Did they just move the cloud? Come on.
Uh,
man.
Unfortunately, no.
I wish.
Cannot. No big fan. Big
Hate it
fan,
here.
not possible. There was actually I remember talking with someone who said that he didn't like that the UK was building these wind turbines, these wind farms, because they were going to blow away the clouds and kill Scotland and make it like a desert.
I did see a photo today, and I shared it with the team. Everybody of they're working on a Universal Studios park in the UK, and it was a beautiful sunny photo, like mock-up, and
Yeah,
friend of mine
wrong. It's never
posted it
sunny.
and said, "It's never going to be sunny. This is inaccurate."
It's kind of mystical, actually. Yesterday we had the clearest, most beautiful day, basically ever. Was it yesterday or before yesterday? I went out to film some video for Interstellar Gateway, and it looked really, really nice. And then today, it's overcast cloud, 100% overcast. How does this happen?
I don't
We
know.
are
but-
treated to one day of happiness, and then the sky gods take it all away again.
Oh yeah, we had in the past week we've had 90-degree weather, we've had 36-degree weather, and we've had 225 tornado warnings in one 12-hour window. So
It's those traffic
Yeah.
circles, I'm telling you.
yeah, for sure. Must be. No other
Must be.
option.
Is there even any more Atlas-related content we can discuss?
I
We've talked
mean,
about the rocket, we've talked about the fairing, we've talked
Not
about the
until it does
GNT, we've
something.
talked about the engines, we've talked about the structure a little bit, I guess. Actually, yeah,
You know-
funny point of the structure here. Part of the reason Centaur is inside the fairing with these large fairings is because the fairing is so massive that Centaur can't support it. So it has to be fixed to the actual fuselage.
Yeah, I think the one thing that we haven't talked about is the engines on that Centaur 3 upper stage,
Of course.
which
Right, go
are
on.
the venerable, more than 50 years old now, RL10 engines, which you may know have been on just about every vehicle at some point or another. They powered everything from the Saturn 1 first stage to several Centaur variants for various flavors of Atlas rockets. The Delta Cryogenic second stage uses, and also ICPS and EUS for SLS uses RL10. Let's see here. I believe the space shuttle is supposed to use at some point a Centaur G upper stage using RL10 engines. So this engine's been on just about everything. And it just keeps getting upgraded and made cheaper and improved. Almost 60 years, I think, might actually be 60 years old now.
Yeah, there's
these
a full
are
list here. Sorry, Brandon, to step over you. There's a full list here. Atlas, Delta 3, Delta 4, Saturn 1, SLS, Titan 3E, Titan 4, Vulcan Centaur, or DCX, which was unfortunately cancelled, Omega, and Space Shuttle. So, yeah, that's a lot of launch vehicles.
Yep, and this is a LH2 and LOX engine. As many of you likely know, this is one of the highest specificables combinations you can get. And that is really great for... Oh, sorry, I just want to jump in here again. Looks like we have lost the clock once again. Remains to be seen.
We'll see if that's just
Whether or
what
not-
highlights reel. I'm presuming it is for now.
Yeah, I think it's just
Yeah.
that when they put the highlight reel, they get rid of that clock. But
Which is awfully disconcerting, really, isn't it?
yeah, because
Ye-
it looks like they could be just rolling like an outro. Thanks for watching until next time video. But
I think it's
Right.
kind of the SpaceX brain that we've been given, where if the clock disappears,
Yeah.
it's over.
yeah.
What's up? Yep. Back to RL10. Like we've gone over, it's been on just about every vehicle under the sun. Upgraded throughout its lifespan, and it is going to keep sticking around for Vulcan as well. So that
they did-
is.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, they are polling right now.
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna. No, it's still a highlight video. I'm confused.
oh,
Is
Lord.
this a highlight video, or
It
are
is,
they
yeah,
polling right
yeah.
now?
No, look at the. Yeah, it's definitely replays.
United Launch Alliance, please help me. I am very confuzzled.
ULA,
There is
I am
no
scared.
way.
Please hold me.
Oh my god.
What?
Oh my god, they had a GNC. They had a GNG in the highlight reel. That is evil.
Oh,
That is so evil.
Oh, it's over.
This is
It's
just. I feel like they're doing this deliberately. I bet they've got a
Yeah.
team there who are trying to mess our stream up. I bet that's their sole purpose.
It's not even that. It's that they've delayed so many times now that they're out of pre-made packages for this specific launch. So they're going through their archives and playing other video packages that happen to include that go no go poll.
This is insane.
Yeah, yeah. I have unfortunately been in that position where you're scrounging for more media to play.
Yep.
Let's see.
My
All
respect.
right.
That is awfully disconcerting, isn't it?
Should
Yeah,
we put
I
a
would-
poll up? Go
Yeah,
no.
let's put a poll up and
Put a
see just
poll.
how pessimistic y'all are.
Yeah.
I'm not even pessimistic. Let's
Definitely
make it
gonna
a
vote.
decision. Would you send it or would you not? Go or no go? What would you do?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't
If
have
you were-
permission
if you
to
were the
make
launch
polls.
director.
I would have
If somebody-
no-goed an hour ago.
I would have
Mhm.
code when I like go to the gym at a reasonable time.
Anybody with wow, man the collector here with a idea to improve retention. Just boot up a game of Subway Surfers and put it on the left-hand side of the screen. Ooh,
If we added
that's-
TikTok style subtitles, would you guys stick around? Is that what's it? Is that what you're
Oh
needing?
my
that would cause me to click off almost immediately.
Well,
What
Maria,
if we'd
you're not
attract a
the
different
average,
crowd?
5-year-old.
I am not
Yes.
the typical viewer.
Next time for sure we add KSP on the side so that can be played
We
while
play the Joey Leal. I woke up in a new Bugatti track the whole time in the background.
We do have
Faisy
a
in
question.
chat, just announce your launch after the fact. Lol, problem solved. Unfortunately, we are. Fortunately, we are not the Chinese Communist Party and cannot pull that one off.
We have a question here from Jack DV. Does ULA have other launch windows for a 24 or 48 hour recycle? Do we know?
I would imagine, right? But not.
Maybe not.
As
It's
far as
ULA.
I know, they have not announced further windows after this one.
Brandon says yes, 24 and 48 backup.
Okay.
Oh, very good.
Not sure where
Then
he
the
got
answer
the
is yes.
info, but he is media credentialed, so perhaps he knows more than we do.
We do.
All right.
Maybe they're just planning to scrap it if they don't launch it today. Just get rid of it.
Oh, ULA announced the pad today. Awesome.
Makes sense.
Well, it seems like that is what's going to happen because we're now at 2-25 minutes, and I don't see any flames coming out the bottom.
Yep. I am
Oh.
just reading off a reply by a Kuiper employee to a friend of mine. Quote: "I hope we go up." ... So yeah,
That's
things.
disconcerting.
Yep.
Well, much better it goes up safely than into cumulo clouds.
Yeah, as much as I hate to hear it when it's said by other people to me, but better to be on the ground wishing you're in space than in space wishing you're on the ground, or in the air rather.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Hey, personally, I just, I'm playing the role of the big corporation. Let it die, please. We need some sick explosion B-roll. Just
Yeah.
kidding. Just kidding.
Don't need it that bad.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't wish that upon.
Waiter, one more starship explosion, please.
Oh, please, God, no.
God, I hope not, man.
35 is
Oh my
gonna
gosh.
explode in the Bahamas, and you're gonna like it.
It better
The footage from Flight 7 of me when I was in Mexico after all the scrubs and delays and travel issues, like the video of me is so. I just collapse on the ground after liftoff, and I'm like, "Thank you, finally! I'm so tired."
Yeah,
emotional.
not the greatest outcome, but at least it was an outcome.
It wasn't, and they caught Booster, so I mean, what more can you ask for, really?
The ship
ship
to
to
not
land.
explode.
Yes.
Yes, please. Not
I've asked for this.
All right, that's yeah. You have a good point.
Oh man, we are reaching critical levels of it's over.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, I can't even snap back with we're actually back. I think it is actually over here.
I think it's
Yeah.
over. I might even get another cold hot dog. Jesus. God, how bad
Oh
is it
no.
getting?
That may actually be an act of mercy.
Brandon Wynn in the back
Uh-oh.
channels saying, "Holy fucking Jova." Brandon, have you learned something new, or are you just kind of realizing that all of this was for naught?
Ugh. Oh, he's typing.
He's
Uh-oh.
typing.
Typing gives me
Brendan M.
anxiety.
Wynn is typing.
He's just on his last brain cell. Okay,
Ah,
he's just crashing out. That's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing new.
Understood.
Donate
just
and
a-
give him caffeine,
Okay.
everybody.
Just another Wednesday for Brandon.
Sorry, Brandon. We need you to stay up 36 more hours. Why? No
Thanks.
reason.
It's because.
Brandon M. Wynn isn't winning this one.
He's gonna change his name to Brandon and
Burn.
lose.
God.
Ugh.
How are we going to keep this going for 22 minutes?
We're
What
not-
is
we're
there
not.
to
The
say?
They're
answer
not.
is
They're gonna announce it. They're gonna announce it in the next 30 seconds. I'm telling you.
There is... sorry. Brandon typed something kind
Oh
of
yeah,
funny that I'm
we
not
should
gonna
not
say.
share
We're not going to read that out.
You can imagine though on stream.
From the ULA, Launch Weather Officer Brian Belson continues to brief the ULA launch leadership as new observations refresh on the radar. There remains a slight chance the clouds could clear. For crying out loud.
Crazy.
There's a select chance.
It's over. Let it go.
Go home. Give your employees some time off, please.
There is a slight chance. That's awful.
There's a slight chance we
Are they
may
just... Are they waiting for like a percentage to tick below like 2% or something? And the moment it does, they just smash the launch button. That's
It's
genuinely
just someone's
probably
got
what
their
they-
button
genuinely.
hovering over it like the
No
nuclear.
joke. No joke. That's kind of what this is. Because imagining they've got a cloud that's right on the boundary.
Just like accidentally push the button. Just accidentally sneeze and just hit it.
Like Joey did with space instead of shift.
If you have not watched that highlights video, by the way, go watch it. It's great.
It is actually kind of funny. I cannot lie. I did say some funny things. Only me, of course, because I'm the most attractive, awesome, funny guy IGW has to
Or-
offer. It's
Or
true.
it's because
true.
I edited it in a way to enhance the funny.
It's not true. I'm naturally always like that. It's not true. Don't believe her myths. Or their myths, even.
Cancel.
Mocko,
Don't
bro doesn't
believe
have the guts to scrub it. Is bro ULA?
Oy,
Referring to a launch company as bro is my favorite thing, actually.
bro. Everyone is bro.
Bro exploded over the Bahamas. R.I.P.
Werner von Kerman has gotten bored enough to start an RP1 save. That is awful. If I start cracking open KSV career mode during this, good lord.
Oh no. Oh, that's terrible actually. RP1? Jeez, man, that's like
Interesting, Jack DV says on stream they're saying if the cloud line breaks into pieces, they only have to measure the tops of the pieces inside the radius. But right now they have to treat it as one entire piece, so they're hoping that it breaks up, basically. That is quite
Oh.
funny. What? So their launch is being stopped by one super specific rule, basically.
Yeah.
It's one specific cloud going, fuck you, ULA. I'm gonna hang around here.
If
Genuinely.
you look at it, it's
SpaceX Cloud! SpaceX Cloud!
High
SpaceX
altitude
weather
winds.
modification machine!
I'm telling you, man, they're putting raptors in the clouds.
Dude, the SpaceX
God,
jet,
believe
dude,
me.
SpaceX buys a jet, they're putting chemtrails on it.
Wait, listen, it's just the SPI blimp, okay?
Speaking
my
of,
God.
It's all a
slightly,
conspiracy.
Speaking
Did
of
it all
slightly
the
wet
way
conspiracies, and
all
you
the way
have to
to
forgive me for being far away because I'm looking for gym clothes because I'm sure as hell not waiting any longer. We do have a de-occulting the International Space Station video, or live
Oh my
stream
god, we do
even,
need to do
that
that.
is coming very, very soon. So please do keep an eye out for it.
Mm, mm.
We need to do
Yeah.
that ASAP.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did briefly to get slightly back on topic. We did just get a brief view of the engine on this rocket. One of my favorite bits of trivia about the RD-180 on this particular rocket. RD once you is transliterated from Russian. It's like PA, but it's the Cyrillic letters. I'm not sure the exact name of them, but it translates literally to Rocket Engine 180. Which is just really funny to me because it's simultaneously the most and least descriptive name you could ever have. It is Rocket Engine number 180.
It's a rocket engine upgrade, and we got 180 of them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
wait, did we
Although
just get a?
it is half as
Hold
power.
up.
It is half as powerful. It is essentially half of an RD-170. So in theory, it should be what? Hang on, brain's not working.
I'm
at
just
full
hearing chatter
capacity
now.
here.
Just hearing
Like
chatter
two.
now about a scrub.
A scrub.
But we will.
Dub dub.
I'll wait to see the ULA text update. But looks like we've had a
Yep.
scrub.
We've scrubbed it.
I would believe it at this rate.
Oh,
Let's keep an eye anyway. Aha, yep, it's
Yep,
confirmed.
yep,
There's a
confirmed
scrub. Eric Richards has announced that we will not continue with countdown operations today. Weather is observed and forecast no-go, blah blah blah. They've called the cumulus clouds stubborn and the winds persistent. Dude, they're not happy.
stubborn. That's
Stubborn clouds.
stubborn. I've never
Brandon.
heard that one.
God.
Well,
Brandon
you
is
know
now
what?
apparently going to throw his camera into the river. So
And I think on
I
that
would not
terrible
blame him.
disappointment, let's just close the stream. What more is there to say?
Yeah.
Rocket did not go to space today, but we may be here for when it next attempts. We will feed that back to you, though. Thank you for being here, though. Thank you for watching, sticking through this awful, awful show. Keep an eye on our socials. Interstellar Gateway on X, Instagram as well. Of course, we're on YouTube. Keep an eye out for some cool stuff. As I said before, Starship Episode 2 is coming, so do keep your eyes out on the social feeds for that. Thank you guys for joining us. Do you guys want to sign yourselves off? Little sign-offs, guys?
Sure. I look forward to joining you guys for the next try.
Koji, say see ya really loudly and like coolly. That's pretty good. Okay, go.
Thank you guys for watching, and we will be back for another attempt in the near future if Brandon is able to recover from this crash.
If he's alive by then, if he's still there, if we don't find him washed up on the shore, man, I'm worried about that guy.
You, Emlyn, roll that outro.
Yes, of course, I was background stream god. Thank you to him as well, and of course, yeah, keep an eye on the socials. We will post stuff on there. But for now, thank you for watching. We'll close out now. Good night, guys.
Yeah. Can't see, but I am giving a salute.